In the heart of a world that breathes in whispers and shadows, where moonlight barely dares to touch the forest floor, there walks a ghost, a hunter born from silence, power, and perfection. The jaguar, not just a predator, but a legend sculpted by the rainforest itself. Every step it takes is a story of strength. Every roar, a warning to the night. This isn't just another big cat. It's the shadow king of the rainforest, a creature so mysterious even the jungle bows before it, deep in the Amazon's tangled vines. This beast rules with unseen authority, striking faster than lightning, disappearing faster than fear. You don't find the jaguar, it finds you. And tonight we step into its kingdom, where survival is written in silence and the only law is instinct. So tighten your grip on curiosity, hit that subscribe, like, and drop a comment, because what you're about to discover will change the way you see nature forever. Pause, jungle ambience rises. Now, let's unlock the secrets behind the eyes that see in darkness. Let's build the wall of mystery, brick by brick, truth by truth, as we reveal the jaguar, the shadow king of the rainforest. In the dense green labyrinth of the Amazon, silence isn't just an absence of sound, it's a weapon. The jaguar moves through this world as if woven from the shadows themselves, unseen and unheard, each step placed with surgical precision. No rustle of leaves, no breaking twigs, no alarm from the forest's watchful eyes. Everything about the jaguar is built for the kill, from its broad, muscular shoulders to the golden coat patterned with rosettes that dissolve perfectly into the dappled light of the canopy. But the real secret to its reign lies not in stealth alone, it lies in the power hidden behind its jaw. Of all the big cats that walk the earth, lion, tiger, leopard, cheetah, none possess a bite as devastating as the jaguar's. Measured by strength and pressure, its jaws can deliver over 500 pounds per square inch, a force so extreme it can crush bone like dry twigs. To put that into perspective, that's nearly twice the power of a lion's bite. Most big cats kill by strangulation, clamping down on the throat until their prey suffocates. But the jaguar plays by its own rules. It doesn't waste time in struggle or chase. It strikes with an eerie calm, one bite, one instant, and silence returns. Its method is both brutal and surgical, a perfectly aimed bite to the skull or spine, piercing straight through bone to the brain. Death comes before the victim even has time to understand what's happened. This precision kill isn't born from savagery, it's evolution's masterpiece. In a world where prey is armored in thick hide and shell, efficiency means survival, jaguars often prey on animals that other predators would dare not touch. Turtles, caimans, capybaras, even small crocodiles. They dive into rivers and swamps where most big cats would drown or flee, and emerge with jaws clamped around the head of a struggling reptile. No thrashing, no wasted effort. Just the cold certainty of nature's most perfect assassin. Imagine for a moment standing on the riverbank as dusk settles over the rainforest. The water glows gold under the fading light, insects hum in 1,000 directions, and the air grows heavy. Somewhere beneath the surface, bubbles rise and then vanish, and then a ripple. Just one. In that fleeting moment, a jaguar explodes from the water, muscles coiled, jaws flashing. It hits its target with terrifying accuracy. The caiman barely reacts before the jungle goes still again. No roar follows, only the sound of water dripping from the jaguar's whiskers as it drags its prize back into the undergrowth. Even scientists who have studied predators for decades remain astonished by this efficiency. The jaguar doesn't need to chase. It waits, studies, and calculates every angle. Its vision can cut through the gloom of the jungle, and its hearing picks up even the smallest ripple of movement. Then, in less than a heartbeat, it becomes the embodiment of nature's quiet violence. Ancient civilizations understood this power long before science could measure it. To the Maya, Aztec, and Inca, the jaguar was divine, an avatar of strength, war, and the underworld. Temples were carved with its image, priests wore its spotted pelt, and warriors prayed for its spirit before battle. They called it Balam, the keeper of the night, the bridge between the living and the dead. To them, the jaguar was not feared, it was worshipped. Today, deep in the forests where moonlight breaks through the canopy like liquid silver, that same legend still breathes. Indigenous tribes speak of eyes that watch from the darkness, glowing amber and calm, never blinking. Hunters say that if the forest grows suddenly quiet, if the frogs stop croaking and the birds freeze mid-song, it means the Shadow King is near. You won't see it, but it will see you. The jaguar's killing power is not just about dominance, it's about harmony. Every strike maintains the balance of its world, keeping prey populations steady, controlling overgrowth, and shaping the rhythm of life within the rainforest. It is both destroyer and protector, terror and guardian, hunter and symbol of balance. Even as modern machines cut deeper into the forest and human footprints replace animal trails, the jaguar endures, still mastering the art of silence, still hunting with the precision of ancient gods. Because in a world of chaos and noise, it remains one of the last true phantoms of nature's design, a creature that kills not out of rage, but with purpose. Somewhere, right now, in the darkness of a jungle that never sleeps, a heartbeat slows, a leaf trembles, and the night holds its breath. And in that breath, the Shadow King moves again. When the last traces of sunlight disappear behind the towering walls of green, The rainforest transforms into a living dream of movement and sound, a world that belongs entirely to the night. The howler monkeys grow quiet, the macaws tuck their wings, and an invisible ruler awakens from the undergrowth. The jaguar steps into his kingdom, and the night bends around him. This is his time, his realm, and his rule. What to us is darkness, cold, impenetrable, suffocating, is to him as clear as dawn. He doesn't fear the shadows, he is the shadow. The rainforest after sundown is not silent. It pulses with life, the hum of insects, the rustle of snakes through fallen leaves, the flutter of bats slicing through the air. But amid all this sound, the jaguar moves without a whisper, his eyes glowing like molten amber, pierce through the darkness 6 times better than any human could ever hope to see. To him, the moonlight isn't faint, it's bright enough to paint the world in perfect detail. Every flicker of motion, every shift of shape in the foliage, every breath of a sleeping animal, he sees it all. Evolution has gifted him more than power, it has given him mastery of the night. Behind those golden eyes, a lattice of special cells, called the tapetum lucidum, acts like a mirror, bouncing light back through the retina. It's the same mechanism that makes a cat's eyes glow in the dark, but in the jaguar, it's refined to perfection. Where we see only a black wall of shadow, he sees a shimmering landscape of outlines and motion. This is why he hunts when the world is asleep, because the night doesn't hide him, it reveals his advantage. There's something hauntingly beautiful about this silent rain. Deep in the forest, where no roads exist and the moonlight falls like mist, he moves through an empire unseen by human eyes. The vines curl around ancient trees, the air drips with humidity, and the forest floor is a mosaic of life and death. Here, every sound matters and every movement could mean survival. But the jaguar doesn't rush, he waits. His patience is as chilling as his strength. When he finally moves, he becomes an echo of the forest itself. The wide paws spread his weight, softening his steps. The tail sways in rhythm, balancing each motion perfectly. He doesn't run, he glides. Even his breath is measured, controlled. No animal senses his presence until it's far too late. A low thud of muscles coiling, the brief shimmer of rosetted fur, and then silence again. The night has claimed another life, but you wouldn't know it. The forest keeps its secrets. Those who have seen the jaguar at night describe it as an experience between fear and awe. It feels unreal, like witnessing the embodiment of the jungle itself. In the beam of a weak flashlight, 2 eyes appear, floating, unblinking, and before your mind can decide if it's real, it's gone, melted back into the dark. No girl, no chase, just the quiet hum of the forest reclaiming itself. But this creature's night vision isn't just for hunting, it's survival. The rainforest, beautiful as it is unforgiving. The jaguar's enemies aren't just its prey, but the creeping threats of poachers, deforestation, and noise that push deeper every year. Yet even as humans carve away at his world, he adapts. He shifts his routes, changes his hours, hunts deeper in the dark. He becomes even more elusive, vanishing from the day and blending deeper into the folds of night. Scientists studying jaguars in the wild rely on motion-activated cameras, but even those sometimes fail to capture him. The jungle seems to protect its monarch, wrapping him in its endless layers of mist and shadow. Researchers find paw prints in the mud, half erased by rain, or the remains of prey with unmistakable puncture marks, but rarely the cat himself. It's as if he knows when he's being watched and simply chooses not to exist in that moment. There's something almost mystical in that. Maybe that's why so many native legends call him the walker between worlds. In ancient beliefs, the jaguar wasn't merely an animal. It was the guardian of night, the messenger between the living and the spirits. When darkness fell and the forest seemed to breathe heavier, they said the jaguar was crossing through the veil that separated life from the unseen, and perhaps even now that legend feels true. Because somewhere right now, beyond the last campfire, beyond the reach of flashlights and maps, the jaguar walks again. The forest bows to his silence, the stars shimmer through the canopy, and the night hums with reverence. He does not roar to announce his power. He does not need to be seen to rule. He rules because he is the night patient, invisible, and eternal. There is a whisper in the jungle, a shadow that shifts and gleams like liquid gold under the fractured sunlight. In those rare moments when it steps into view, time itself seems to hold its breath. The jaguar, cloaked in its living armor of rosettes, carries a beauty so mesmerizing that it feels unreal, as though nature painted it with secrets meant only for itself. But not every jaguar wears this pattern of gold. Some are darker, far darker, born beneath the same canopy, raised in the same wilderness, yet marked by a shadow deeper than the night itself. These are the black jaguars, the mysterious phantoms of the rainforest, living enigmas that have haunted myth, science, and imagination for centuries. Their darkness is not absence, but transformation. What appears to be a black coat is, in truth, a hidden tapestry of rosettes still etched beneath the surface, visible only when light strikes at just the right angle. This phenomenon, known as melanism, is a genetic trait, a rare twist of nature's brush that gifts some jaguars with excess pigment. But it's more than color, it's camouflage. In the dense rainforests of the Amazon and the silent underworld of night, the black jaguar becomes almost invisible. It melts into the shadowed world like smoke in the wind, a ghost within a living maze. Imagine standing in the jungle as the sun dips below the tree line. The light fades into a deep, almost greenish dusk. In the distance, a rustle, leaves tremble. You look but see nothing. Then, suddenly, two golden eyes flicker open. Suspended in midair, the black jaguar watches, silent and unblinking. You could be standing 3 meters away and still never truly see it. It is nature's most perfect illusion. A shape that doesn't exist until it decides to. For generations, this shadow cat has stirred both reverence and fear. To the ancient Maya and Aztecs, it was no ordinary creature. It was the embodiment of the night itself, the guardian of the underworld, the warrior of the dark. They believed it could walk between realms, its black coat a symbol of rebirth and death, power and mystery. Warriors prayed to its spirit before battle, hoping to inherit its fearlessness, its control of both stealth and strength. Even today, in remote villages bordering the Amazon, local stories tell of the tiger negro, a spirit that appears in dreams, warning or protecting those who cross its path. Science has another story to tell, though no less fascinating. Studies suggest that melanism may have evolved as a form of natural selection, a tool of survival. In the rainforest's deep shadows, darker cats are less visible to prey and better suited to ambush. Over generations, this trait persisted, refining itself, passing quietly through bloodlines like a royal secret. Yet, even as researchers track them with infrared cameras, these black jaguars defy visibility. The forest seems to protect them, swallowing them into layers of darkness and sound. Sometimes, even the heat sensors fail, as if the jungle itself conspires to hide its rarest creation. But their beauty comes with danger. The darker the coat, the more prized it becomes in the illegal wildlife trade. Poachers whisper of their worth in markets far from the jungle, where skin becomes trophy and mystery turns to money. Yet no photograph, no lifeless pelt could ever capture what makes the black jaguar truly extraordinary. It is not the darkness of its fur, but the living silence that moves with it, a presence you feel before you see, a gaze that pierces even from the unseen. In the wild, this color grants both blessing and curse. It hides the jaguar from prey and from human eyes alike, but it also isolates them genetically, making encounters with others rare. Still, the black jaguar thrives where others vanish. It hunts through torrential rains, slipping between vines and shadows, ambushing with the same deadly precision as its golden kin. To watch one move, even through a camera trap, is to witness poetry written in muscle and stealth, each stride deliberate, each glance calculating, each breath silent. Somewhere in the endless tangle of trees, a single ray of moonlight falls upon a black silhouette perched on a low branch. The rosettes shimmer faintly under the sheen of its dark coat, like constellations trapped beneath ink. For a fleeting moment, the shadow has form, and then, in the blink of an eye, it dissolves back into the night, leaving only the echo of your heartbeat and the rustle of leaves to remind you it was ever there at all. There are creatures in this world that do not simply exist, they haunt it. The black jaguar is one of them. It is the mystery that watches but is never seen, the secret that keeps the rainforest alive with wonder. Its darkness isn't emptiness, it's the color of legend still breathing, waiting and watching in the endless night. The rainforest is a cathedral of life, vast, untamed, and symphonic. Every inch teems with sound, color, and movement. But within that chaos, there exists a presence that walks alone. The jaguar is not a creature of packs or prides. It needs no company, no alliance, no army of its kind. It rules through solitude, an emperor of silence whose only companion is the breath of the jungle itself. It is a ghost with golden eyes and a heartbeat that belongs to no one but the forest. The life of a jaguar is defined by isolation. From the moment it leaves its mother's side, it steps into a world where every shadow is both a threat and a boundary. Its kingdom is carved not with roar or dominance, but with scent, a trail left on bark leaves and riverbanks invisible yet sacred. Within those boundaries, no other jaguar dares to tread. To cross that invisible line is to invite death, even among their own kind. The jaguar's rule is absolute. The rainforest doesn't allow for mercy. It rewards strength, patience, and precision. And solitude is the jaguar's greatest weapon. Without others to feed, defend, or follow, it learns the rhythms of its world like a language only it can speak. It knows when the tappers drink, when the deer feed, when the caimans bask on the mud banks. It memorizes the shape of its territory, every fallen tree, every winding river, every whisper of the wind. It moves through this domain as if it were one with it, guided not by noise but instinct so sharp it borders on supernatural. When the jaguar hunts, it doesn't chase, it calculates. It studies the forest the way a sculptor studies marble, seeing form and opportunity where others see chaos. Then, in a single heartbeat, it becomes motion, swift, absolute, final. Its prey rarely knows it's being watched until it's already too late. That's the rhythm of its solitude, no pack to alert, no rivals to share the spoils, just silence and the soft, inevitable end of the hunt. But this isolation is not loneliness. To the jaguar, solitude is harmony. It is how it listens to the world, how it keeps its dominion pure. The jungle responds to its presence like an orchestra tuning to its conductor. Birds fall quiet when it passes. The air stills. The forest seems to bow. This unspoken power doesn't come from size or strength alone. It comes from understanding. The jaguar doesn't fight the jungle, it is the jungle, sometimes deep in the canopy. Two territories overlap. When that happens, the forest holds its breath again. The scent marks are detected, a warning carried by the damp wind. The intruder knows it has trespassed. There is no confrontation unless one refuses to yield. And when they meet, it is not chaos but ritual, a low growl, a step forward, a show of strength. Sometimes that's enough, but sometimes blood must write the border anew. The winner remains, the forest absorbing the echoes of the struggle. The loser vanishes, a shadow erased by another shadow. Even in mating, solitude reigns. The male and female meet briefly, drawn together by instinct, and then part ways, their connection as fleeting as a passing storm. The female raises the cubs alone, guarding them fiercely for nearly 2 years until they are strong enough to claim a piece of the world for themselves. When they leave, they never return. The cycle continues, generation after generation, each jaguar carving its own unseen empire from the wilderness. In this way, every jaguar becomes a world unto itself, a self-contained universe of instincts, memories, and silence. To see one in the wild is to witness an entire ecosystem compressed into a single heartbeat. It drinks where rivers bend, sleeps in caves where roots break stone, and disappears like vapor when the light shifts. Its solitude is not a burden, it's a legacy, the art of survival written in every muscle, every breath, every silent step. To humans, solitude often means emptiness, but to the jaguar it means power, freedom unbound by need. It means never depending, never fearing, never being seen unless it chooses to be. The rainforest doesn't crown its rulers with gold or praise. It crowns them with stillness, and none wear that crown more gracefully than the jaguar. When night falls again, and the sounds of frogs and cicadas swell to a roar, the jaguar moves once more through its dominion. Alone, but not lonely. Silent, but not unseen. It pauses, lifts its head, and breathes in the thick scent of its world. This is not just territory, it is existence carved in solitude, guarded by instinct, and sanctified by the endless hum of the living forest. And then, as if vanishing into thought, the Shadow King slips away, leaving only silence where his kingdom once whispered his name. The night in the rainforest is alive, but beneath its sounds, something stirs that does not belong to the trees. It moves with the fluid grace of moonlight, gliding through reeds and vines, silent but certain. In this endless sea of green, there is one predator unlike any other, a cat that doesn't fear the water but rules it. The jaguar, unlike its cousins in Africa or Asia, is not bound to the land. It is both hunter of the forest and conqueror of the river, a creature that bends two worlds to its will. When most think of big cats, they imagine savannas, deserts, or open plains, places where the ground is dry and the chase is long. But the jaguar belongs to a kingdom drenched in rain, where the rivers twist like serpents through the forest floor. Here, everything depends on water. It feeds the trees, it hides the prey, it shapes the jungle's pulse. And within this realm, the jaguar is not a visitor. It is the silent monarch beneath the ripples. It's one of the only big cats on earth that swims not out of necessity, but by instinct and preference. When the rain turns the jungle into a flooded maze, other animals seek higher ground. The jaguar, however, embraces it. Its broad paws act like paddles, slicing through the surface with ease. Its body, dense and muscular, glides smoothly through the current. It dives beneath fallen branches, disappears under murky water, and resurfaces like a phantom, all without a sound. This aquatic skill gives the jaguar something few predators ever achieve: dominance across two elements. It stalks both land and water with equal mastery. Tapirs, capybaras, deer, none are safe when the forest floods. But the jaguar's most astonishing prey are those who think themselves untouchable: caimans, the armored reptiles of the Amazon. Most animals avoid them. The jaguar hunts them. Imagine the scene: the humid night thick with mist, the moon faintly mirrored on the surface of a quiet lagoon. The caiman floats still, eyes barely breaking the water, and then, without warning, the water shatters. From the depths explodes a flash of gold and black, a surge of power wrapped in rosettes. The jaguar lunges, jaws open wide, and sinks its teeth straight into the skull of the reptile. The forest holds its breath for a heartbeat, then all goes still again. No roar, no struggle, just ripples fading into silence. The king has claimed his throne. No other big cat hunts this way. Tigers may swim, leopards may wade, but none dive headfirst into the heart of rivers like jaguars do. Their jaws, already among the strongest in the animal kingdom, allow them to pierce even the skulls and shells of their aquatic prey. Scientists studying jaguars have recorded them dragging carcasses heavier than themselves up muddy slopes, their muscles rippling under soaked fur. Every movement reveals a predator perfectly designed for amphibious warfare. But it's not just the hunt that ties the jaguar to water, it's life itself. The rivers of the Amazon are its highways, its secret paths between hunting grounds. When the dry season comes and the forest begins to crack under heat, the jaguar follows the shrinking rivers, claiming new dominions as it moves. Water is its map, its rhythm, its compass. To understand a jaguar, you must understand the pulse of the river. because they are one and the same. Indigenous tribes who share this world know this truth deeply. They tell stories of the water jaguar, a spirit that guards the rivers from greed and waste. They say when the water turns cloudy and fish disappear, it's because the jaguar has been angered, the guardian disturbed. And when the rains return, when the rivers swell again, they whisper that the great cat has forgiven the forest. Whether myth or memory, these tales remind us that the jaguar's bond to water is not just biological, it's spiritual. Even today, camera traps placed near riverbanks often catch fleeting glimpses. A tail slipping into the current, a head emerging between lilies, the brief shimmer of rosettes reflecting the moon. Scientists marvel at how effortlessly this predator moves, even in conditions that would drown most creatures. Some believe this adaptability may have saved the species. When land prey grew scarce, the jaguar turned to rivers and swamps, expanding its hunting territory when others would have starved. In every droplet falls on its fur, in every ripple that trails behind its steps, the jaguar carries the legacy of survival. It is not just a cat of the forest, it is a master of two worlds, one that breathes, one that flows. While most predators wait for their prey to come near, the jaguar goes to find it, above the water, beneath it, wherever life dares to hide. So when the rain begins to fall again, drumming softly on the canopy, the jungle holds its breath in reverence. The rivers swell, the night grows heavy, and somewhere in the flood, a shadow glides beneath the surface. Eyes glowing, heart steady. The water parts for him, the moon follows him, and the silence of his rain ripples outward, reminding every creature that in the heart of this living labyrinth, the true king is not bound by land or sky, but swims quietly between them. There was a time when the jaguar's roar rolled across two continents, from the arid edges of Arizona's deserts to the lush wetlands of Argentina. It prowled through forests, mountains, and swamps, unseen but always present, the pulse of the wild made flesh. It was a symbol of balance, the hunter that kept the jungle alive, the shadow that kept chaos at bay. But time, for all its power, is cruel. Where once its prints marked endless miles of soil, now they fade, replaced by the tracks of machines, by roads, by the slow heartbeat of a vanishing world. The jaguar, the shadow king, has begun to disappear. Deforestation cuts deep, carving wounds through the Amazon, the Pantanal, the Maya forests. Each tree that falls is another piece of the jaguar's kingdom, lost. The ancient trails it once walked crumble into farmland, the rivers it once ruled or drained, polluted or damned. Where there was once an unbroken symphony of life, there is now silence, heavy, unnatural, final, and with every passing year, the jaguar's dominion grows smaller, its voice fainter. But even as its reign fades, the legend of the jaguar refuses to die. In the few sanctuaries where the jungle still breathes, in the deep Amazon, the Pantanal marshes, and the forests of Belize, the king still walks, rarely seen but always there. It moves through what remains of its ancient empire with the same quiet grace, the same calm certainty. Its golden eyes reflect not just the light of the moon, but centuries of survival. For the jaguar has always been more than an animal. It is the spirit of the forest itself. To understand what is being lost, one must understand what the jaguar means to the land it rules. It is the balance keeper, the invisible architect of the ecosystem. When the jaguar hunts, it keeps populations of prey, deer, capybaras, peccaries in check. Without it, these animals multiply, devouring vegetation and upsetting the delicate rhythm of the forest. Remove the jaguar, and the forest begins to unravel. Streams dry, plants vanish, the smaller creatures that depend on them disappear. The king's fall is not just the loss of a predator. It is the slow collapse of an entire kingdom, and yet there are glimmers of hope, fragments of light scattered through the dark. Conservationists in Brazil, Mexico, and Central America are fighting to protect what's left of the jaguar's world. Corridors of land are being reconnected, pathways through which jaguars can roam, mate, and expand their bloodlines again. Hidden cameras capture moments that once seemed impossible. A mother guiding her cubs through tall grass, a male crossing a river under the starlight. Each image is proof that the wild heart of the Americas still beats, faint but steady. But the danger remains constant. Poachers stalk the shadows, forests fall to fire, and greed eats away at the edges of paradise. The jaguar's survival now depends not just on the jungle, but on us, on whether humanity can look into those amber eyes and recognize a reflection of its own fate. Because in saving the jaguar, we are saving more than an animal. We are saving the soul of the rainforest, the breath of the earth itself. There is something profoundly haunting about knowing that an animal once feared and worshipped by empires could vanish quietly, without roar or rebellion, slipping into legend while the world looks away. Yet maybe that's fitting. The jaguar has always been a creature of silence. It came without noise, it ruled without sound. And perhaps it will fade the same way, wrapped in the hush of the trees it once guarded. Still, if you listen closely on certain nights, deep within the heart of the forest, you might hear it, a faint growl carried by the wind, the echo of a presence that refuses to be forgotten. The king may be vanishing, but he is not gone. His spirit lingers in the rustle of leaves, in the shimmer of rivers, in the pulse of every living thing that calls the rainforest home. And so, the legend continues, not in temples, Not in books, but in the shadows where moonlight meets the leaves. The jaguar walks still, unseen but eternal. The forest remembers him. The night protects him. And as long as there are whispers in the dark, the Shadow King will never truly die. For in every shadow that moves beneath the moonlit canopy, in every ripple that disturbs the river's calm, the soul of the jaguar lives on eternal, untamed, and unbroken.